I gotta be quiet with the woo because I do have a neighbor upstairs. But woo, okay. Sabres win 3-2 in overtime. Shouldn't have eaten it. So that's beef jerky that I bought earlier, and I figured, hey, let's try and eat something right before the game starts. Guys, give me 1 second here. 1 second. Woo. Sorry about that, boys and girls. Something got on the right pipe there. There we go. Hey guys, Sabres win 3-2 in overtime. And one thing I'm going to say about this win, guys, is what a gutsy win by the Buffalo Sabres. Bounces were not going their way to start. I don't think they were played terribly in the first period, but they definitely played their best period. And just Anaheim getting chances and burying them. The first goal of the game, just a shot on net that found its way through Luukkonen. The shot had eyes. And then the second goal, again, just putting pucks on net, gets deflected and just up and over Luukkonen. But again, that's how you win hockey games, especially if you're not a good team. You have to find ways to score. Not everything's always going to be pretty. Not everything's going to be beautiful. But Anaheim with that 2-0 lead in the second period. And then lo and behold, and again, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Owen Power had a great game tonight. I'm not sure if he got credited with an assist on the overtime goal, but he now leads all NHL defensemen in even points with even strength points. It was 15. Again, if he got the assist on that overtime goal, it'll be 16. But looked fantastic tonight. I know, he takes a lot of shit online. I've given it to him too. But Owen Power had one of his best games of the season. He broke up that play that led to the Zucker goal. He was the one that sent the puck on net that eventually ended up by Gibson on the Cubs goal, and he was part of the 2-on-1 break with Tuck in overtime that led to Kulik following up on the loose puck and burying it into overtime. So I think he might have 3 assists tonight. If somebody in the peanut gallery, we already got a few comments in there, want to chime in and let me know if he got the assist in that third one. He might have a 3-point night tonight. Give credit where it is due. Owen Power looked fantastic tonight. No doubt about it. UPL, again, fantastic. 5-0 in his last 5 starts. I believe this record is, which, again, what more could you ask for your starting goal from the way he's played? But a gutsy win by the Sabres here. And Sabres After Dark. Sorry, it's way past my bedtime, guys. But an absolute gutsy win by the Sabres to get tie the game late in the second there. And one of the worst things for a hockey team for sure is always late goals. Late goals are a backbreaker to any hockey team. And then you had a power play heading into the third. Could have taken the lead there. Obviously, I think the Ducks played pretty well on their PK. And, we're able to get that to overtime, get themselves a point, which is probably, I'm not sure where they are in the standings. I know they aren't having the most, especially judging from the crowd on a Friday night there. I imagine that, things haven't gone, things aren't going as well as they'd like in the standings, but I'm sure they appreciate the point there in overtime. But get this game to overtime, and the Sabres beat them with speed. They beat them with a ton of speed. And then late there, with less than a minute left in the overtime period, Owen Power and Alex Tuck with the 2-on-1. Gibson makes a big two-pad stack save, but then there's Yuri Kulik following up. Gibson wasn't able to recover in time, and he roofs it for his, I'm assuming this is his first overtime goal of his NHL career. Just love to see that from him because I think he's been playing really, really well. Honestly, every time he's been called up, and he looked fantastic tonight. And couldn't be more happy for him. 1 second. Pulling up the peanut gallery here. I'm just happy we got a lot of people in the chat with us here this late at night. Here we go. UPL had a perfect game. Tough 2 goals that he couldn't do anything about, so I'm not blaming him. Great comeback, boys. Awesome game-winning goal and T for Coleco Sabres. There's our boy Mauricio. Sabres played well in spurts. I felt the Sabres forwards overpassed the puck rather than shooting on net. Numerous high-danger chances failed. Quinn, Tuck, Cousins missed chances. Yeah, there were a lot of missed nets tonight. But I will say this. This was Jack Quinn's best game by and far. Jack Quinn played fantastic tonight. He did everything but score. I thought we saw shades of OG Jack Quinn pre the injuries. I thought he looked really, really, really good. Definitely, in my opinion, his best game of the season. Yeah, Blake finally, Quinn is finally looking better. Maybe healthy. I don't know. I don't know if he was just really snake bitten mentally, or if it was still not fully healthy from that Achilles injury. But yeah, 2-0 leads are the most dangerous hockey. Ducks were begging for that to be tied. You're not wrong. I felt like they were playing way too comfortable, especially there in the second. They felt fine trying to go into the third up 2-0. They were playing, they weren't playing to win, put it that way. And just like that, within a minute, it's 2-2. And you have a power play going to the third. And this just a massive, massive, massive momentum switch. From Blake, Clifton's got a big set of balls. Listen, I want to say this, and we've said on this show before, Connor Clifton has been my favorite defenseman so far this season. When I say defenseman, I mean defenseman. He's done his job. He plays a nice, honest, stay-at-home game. He plays physical, and he's not afraid to drop the gloves. Has anybody, even on Sabres Twitter or any social media, seen anybody bitch about Connor Clifton this season? If they sign him to an extension, even just another 2-year deal tomorrow, I'd be completely fine with it because he has been a breath of fresh air for this team this season. Connor Clifton has just played an honest, physical, stay-at-home defensive game, and that's what this team needs out of him. They don't need him to be anything special. Just play that style of hockey, and you'll have a job in Buffalo. I imagine maybe Kevin Adams, as the guy who brought him in free agency, looks at that like, you know what? I want to keep him around. He's been good for the team. And listen, regardless, if you guys feel the same way, I think it's stupid when players have to answer for a clean hit. Again, the angle, maybe Clifton saw that hit on Zucker. Maybe it was, he didn't see it because he did look like he came in low on him, but it was a clean hit. Clifton, no hesitation. And make no mistake about it, Racco Gudas is a fucking nail gun. That guy can throw bombs, and he stood toe-to-toe with him. No hesitation, dropped the gloves, challenged him, and they went. And that's their captain, too, and he took him off the ice for 5 minutes, which is a big deal. And held his own. Zach Benson, being the little lunatic he is, our little Brad Marchand, I guess you can say, getting into it with Larkins. Even though he took a double minor, I'll take that every day. It's fine with me. Him going to the box for 4 minutes. They got a 2-minute power play. The penalty kill did its job. But yeah, there's big momentum shifts there in the second period that led to them scoring those 2 quick goals. And then, of course, again, just really, really outpacing them in the third period, finding chances off the rush. UPL just playing fantastic, playing like a true number 1 goaltender. And, this team has a bright, bright future in net between him and Devin Levi, because Devin Levi is just down in Rochester, tearing it up, playing consistently. And I'm guessing we're probably going to get James Reimer tomorrow against San Jose, which makes me a little hesitant because his numbers aren't great this season. And granted, he's only played in like I think 3 games, but yeah, going against the play against a team that he was claimed on waivers by when Puffle put him on waivers, hoping to get him in Rochester. Some players on that team might know how to beat him. He's not a younger James Reimer anymore. He's older. I think he's like 36, 37 years old. So he's got a lot of years underneath his belt. But he has been in these situations before. He knows his role as a backup, and hopefully he steps up to the challenge here and gets us a 3-0 West Coast trip. That would be fantastic. My co-host Connor Hurley was at the game tonight. Him and his boys had a blast. Chuck dumping beer in his face after they scored in OT. I just listen. That was a gutsy win. That was a good team win. That's a definition of a team win. Not having Tage Thompson can be very crippling to this offense. It just is. Listen, if this is a much better hockey team that we're playing tonight, you might not come out of here with a win. It was the Ducks. They did have their starter in Nutton Gibson. Gibson's a fantastic goaltender. But at the end of the day, it's still the Ducks. So you can't always rely on gutting out wins like that against the better teams in this league. Now, luckily this injury happens in a soft part of the schedule. LA is a good hockey team, but still you're going to gut out that win. Got out a win tonight. And hopefully tomorrow end up 3-0 come away with 6 points. And you're for the first time this season above 500. You're in the second wild card spot and sole possession of it. So you like this game tomorrow at 7:30, which thank God, by the way, you can see my eyes. I'm ready to fall asleep. Thank God that this game is at a much earlier time for all of us, right? Staying up. Won't be getting to bed until probably after 2:00 in the morning after I upload this to the channel. But an opportunity here to really go 3-0 on the road trip. Let's get a win tomorrow. San Jose is not a good hockey team. They've been playing better late, but they're not a good hockey team. So go out there and get a win against Macklin Celebrini and the San Jose Sharks. From Greg Benson is a menace, and I'm here for it. From Gargalon, Clifton's been great. Bryson, I can't figure out why Linney doesn't nail him to the bench. Every game he's liable in the D zone. From Sean Harrington, UPL is hot this road trip. The 2 goals in 3 games allowed were a screen and deflection. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing he could have did on those 2 goals. One save that really impressed me, it was like a nonchalant glove save, but it came through a screen where I watched it from the shooter's point of view, and I'm like, how did he find that puck? As a goalie, man, you have to have eyes of a hawk there looking through legs to find that puck. Granted, his glove was kind of there already, and maybe he just spotted it right as it got through the legs, and he just, all he had to do was go like that. But great save. Fantastic save. From Blake, Cousins needs a true top 6 winger to help him out. I agree. I think one thing Kevin Adams needs to learn from this Tage Thompson injury is to, not take getting these points for granted. These are the points you need. You need to win these games against teams like this because it helps make up for the teams that maybe you should lose to down the line. In the East and the conference and the division is so wide open that you need to win these games. So those division games, those games in the division mean so much more because they're always 4-point swing games. Get some cushion on this wild card spot if you can. And then when you play your Bostons, your Montreals, your Tampa Bay, your Florida, the teams that are in your division, while those are important games, you provide yourself a little bit of cushion here to stay in that wild card spot, the second wild card spot, or maybe get into the first one. From John Wolf, game is at 8, by the way. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it said pregame started at 7:30. My fault. Thank you, John. John, the already past Sabres games would have lost it. Sabres teams would have lost that game. Absolutely. Last year's team would have lost that game. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Zucker's showing what an asset he is again. Got to give GM Curry his candy for that move. Yeah, again, I've loved Zucker. He's earning that contract. We all thought, and I'm not the only one. Everybody thought he was overpaid at $5 million for the 1 year, but he's earning every bit of that paycheck. And the way I see it right now, it's a win-win for Kevin Adams. Because if unfortunately this team can't find a way to will themselves into the playoffs this season, you're going to get a nice return from him at the deadline, no doubt about it. Or you should, unless he made the same mistake he made with Taylor Hall and gave him trade protection. But I imagine that Zucker, due to his leadership qualities, his experience, I think this is going to come down right to the end of the season if this team making the playoffs or not, and Zucker is going to be a part of that. Definitely need to push for a win tomorrow. Let's have a great finish to this trip and a great flight home. Agreed. Me and Connor were talking, before about how you need minimum 4 out of 6 points here, preferably five, like an overtime loss. But to come out of this with potentially 6 out of 6, that's golden, pony boy, right? That's fantastic. Give me that all day. Who wouldn't obviously having a perfect road trip? Hopefully tomorrow they can open up things scoring wise. Again, I know it's less than 24-hour gap in between games, so hopefully those boys are getting their rest and not going out and partying tonight out in LA or in Anaheim. Get right to San Jose, play a very important game, and come back to Buffalo in a playoff spot. Again, just a really, really, really gutsy win by the Buffalo Sabres tonight. And yeah, I imagine in his post game speech, Lindy's, I guarantee the word gutsy is being thrown around. It just is. Fine, you weren't going to win tonight on skill and fancy moves or anything like that. You were going to win on getting pucks to the net and crashing. All 2 out of the 3 goals are exactly that. The Zucker breakaway, but again, a nice play by OP there. And again, Owen Power takes a lot of shit. I've given it to him. A lot of other people give it to him, but you got to give credit where credit is due. Owen Power looked fantastic tonight. Possibly his best game of the season, both offensively and defensively. Can't wait to inhale that brisk sprint air ahead of Game 3 of Sabres versus Leafs in round 1 of the playoffs. It's going to be legendary. Don't tease me with that idea, Blake, because I will spend my 401k. I don't even care. I will take money on my 401k to have tickets to that game, especially if it's against the Leafs. But listen, I don't want to hold things up here too much because it is after 1 o'clock in the morning, and you have no idea how much I appreciate you guys sticking around with me here tonight and hopping on the post game after such a gutsy win like that. I had to come on. I had to. And thanks for not dipping out after I had a little choking incident to start the podcast. I was eating some beef jerky, just went down the wrong pipe. But again, just a gutsy win tonight by the Buffalo Sabres. And, heading into the holiday week, I'm on vacation next week. Excited to my first vacation over a year. So couldn't be more excited to relax and sit back and, enjoy the Sabres for at least for the time being in a playoff spot. Hopefully Tage is back in the lineup tomorrow night. Initially it was reported by, I forget who it was, said that they heard that it wasn't a serious injury. He wasn't going to miss much time. Well, he just missed his 4th game in a row. So I think at 4, when the player of that caliber misses 4 games in a row, that becomes pretty serious because, when he went down, he was essentially carrying this team on his back. So to get him back tomorrow night would be huge. I know some players, some people say, well, if he's not 100%, don't play him. Well, yeah, duh. But if he can play without risking further injury, you play him because you can't afford, and I think Lindy knows this and Kevin Adams knows this, you can't afford to lose points like this against teams like this. You just can't. You need to beat the teams that you're supposed to beat when you're in the situation we are. We don't have a crazy deep scoring team. We have a very young team. I know we say that every season, but it's still true. Guys that are still gaining experience, both on and off the ice. A lot of these guys are still kids. They just are. And you need to win the games against the teams below you in the standings like this. So, what injury does he have? Was it non-contact? Nobody really knows. It's a lower body injury, but like the play that happened on it was like just a nothing burger. So I feel like it must be a pull or something like that because he's been skating with the team and he's been testing. So it's got to be some type of muscle pull. I'm imagining like it has to be. Could be way worse than, and they just BSing. It could be. I don't know. I feel if it was way worse, he wouldn't have made the West Coast trip. Like he wouldn't be with the team right now. So hopefully he's on the ice tomorrow, back on that top line with JJ and Tuck. I didn't hate Tuck's game tonight. I wish he would have hit the net more. But again, a big part of that goal in overtime. But we all know both him and Tage are better players when they're playing together. So get him back out on that top line and just add that much needed firepower back to this roster. Added life. He was your leading scorer with 11 goals and 18 points. Get him back out there. Hopefully he continues to play at the same clip and this injury doesn't hinder him at all, whatever it is. And let's come out of California with 6 points and really start to control our own destiny here. The schedule's not going to get much easier. We got some in-division games coming up, and you got to be able to win games against teams like this. And they did. They found a way to win against LA. Big 1-0 win. And big of that has been riding on the back of UPL. He's been fantastic. He's been in the zone. He's been calm. He's been poised. And even tonight, when he got caught out of positions a couple times, like defensively, the team, bailed him out. That's what you want to see. There was one save too where he was like kind of out on an island on his own, and they shot the puck at net, and his pad just happened to be there. Well, those things happen when you're playing like this. Those bounces happen in your favor when you're playing like this. Everything just seems to be going right, and hopefully it continues to keep going right. Especially going into coming back home. The Sabres have the Wild back at home. Come on after tomorrow. It's Wednesday next week. So they get Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off. Nice little break. They've got a lot of games like that where they get breaks in between games, which is fantastic. But they get a couple days off to recuperate. I wonder if they'll actually come directly home from San Jose right after this, or if they'll stay there for a night. Definitely could be. It's an earlier game there. And again, if they come out with a win, I wouldn't mind them at all. Letting the guys have a night out in California. Let them have fun. They earned it for sure. They earned to do whatever they want in California legally if they come out of this road trip with 6 points. And then you come back home against Wednesday against the Minnesota Wild in flurries. Don't know if you play them twice this season or not, but it could be the last time you see Marc-Andre Fleury if he plays. And then, again, it's a tough schedule. You have the Canucks on Friday. The Islanders, who you believe you lost to earlier this season, they always play a tough defensive style hockey. And you have the Colorado Avalanche and just a red hot Winnipeg Jets team. But 4 out of those 5 games are all at home, and then you have Utah for the first time on the 7th. So they have 5 out of the next 6 games, pretty sure, all at home. So I'd say after tomorrow. So you got a big homestand. You've been playing better at home. You're better at home, better-ish at home. Need to come out of this West Coast trip 3-0, come back home and string together some wins and really put some cushion in that wild card spot. UPL will carry us to the playoffs. I hope so. The only thing that worries me is they're going to ride him till the wheels fall off, and he's had some injury history, lower body injuries, and you can't have that with him. I have all the faith in the world in Devin Levi. The thing with Devin, and UPL will say the same probably with itself, you just want your goalies playing consistently. I have all the faith if you bring him up that he will play well enough for you guys to win on a nightly basis. I don't believe in the narrative that he's not an NHL goalie. I think he is. It's just giving him the right amount of time and get in game action in order for him to continue to develop. And he's getting that in Rochester. I also think he could have gotten that in practice, But I also understand as a goalie, like you need the chaos of a game situation in order to keep yourself fresh. And totally agree. From abstracted strip clubs after San Jose game. They might. So, better Duane cops a new word. Excellent. Yeah, that's what we do here at Sabres. After, I'll hang up and listen after dark. We just make up words. But guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm tired. I am so tired, but I had to get on the post game here and talk to you guys and celebrate a big Sabres win. Um, we'll see what they do tomorrow against San Jose. And as always, guys, remember this is brought to you by Fatty Beer Company, Western New York's premier market and tap room, with over 300 beers to choose from at all their locations with live music, entertainment, and trivia. Make sure you get to Fatty Beer. Tell them 2 goalies, 1 Mike sent you. Don't forget about Buffalo Go. One of the best spots to get your our swag, the RJ hat, the Hashtag hat, the shirts. Please make sure if you haven't gotten yours yet, you go out there, help support the show. That's the way you do it. And always make sure, please, that if you're watching on YouTube, you hit like, leave a good comment, subscribe. It helps us out a lot. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, please retweet, like, comment, and follow us. You can follow me at Duane39. You can follow Hurley at CHurls13 on Twitter. You can find us at the same handles on Instagram and at 2 goalies, 1 Mike. So with that being said, guys, let you guys have a great night. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow after the San Jose game. And as always, go Sabres.